now all parties are present. State appearances for the record, please.
For Mr. Mayor's Joseph Tampino, on my partner Chad Siegel.
Sarah Capel.
Sarah Capel.
Thank you.
What are you going to call presently for the people?
Thank you. Before the court begins with the proceedings today, I'm going to read something into the record. We've had unauthorized use of cell phones and other recording devices in the court, not related to this matter, just period. So there was an order that came out last Friday, I believe. It's a general order from the presiding judge of criminal, which the court is going to read. No one except authorized court and court security personnel may engage in photographing, recording, or broadcasting or activate any camera, microphone, recorder, or broadcasting device in any courtroom or courthouse in the county where the court conducts business, including all entrances, exits, hallways, escalators, elevators, and adjacent or subterranean court parking, except as permitted by Superior Court of Los Angeles County Local Rule 2.17 and California Rule of Court 1.150, or as permitted by this order or order of any judicial officer as set forth. The order shall not preclude any law enforcement officer from taking appropriate steps to ensure the orderly and peaceable conduct of court business at a courthouse, including the recording of criminal activity in progress, which would be somebody recording in violation of this rule. A law enforcement officer's use of body camera for passive recording is allowed. For purposes of this rule, the following definitions apply. Camera, any device that has a primary function or recording images and is not part of a multi-function device such as a smartphone. Wearable electronic device and wearable camera, including any miniature electronic devices worn under or on top of clothing, and personal electronic devices. So for today, all phones should be off. Unless you're the media, you should not be recording either by camera or recording. And if any of my deputies observe that being done, they have the authority to confiscate your device and either with your consent, look and see what's on there or hear what's on there, and if not with your consent, then we would obtain a search warrant. So everyone should have their phones off, no recording devices of any nature. Now, that being said, we can proceed. People. Oh, there's an issue actually, I'll get to you, Mr. Tapia, but there's an issue with the evidence that was submitted. Tina says there's an E and an F, but we're only going to subsume everything into E, correct?
That's correct. Yes. Those are the defense exhibits we're talking about?
That's correct, yeah.
Yes. Was that it?
There are like 10 videos in that thumb drive.
That's the other issue, which we've talked about before. So both parties submitted thumb drives, not a CD with separate files nor stills. So what that creates is all these clips, if you will, on the thumb drives, most of which are not shown in court. And it's going to be part of the evidence because you've submitted it, and all evidence that is taken during the course of the preliminary hearing, as we know, has to be received into evidence.
Well, the only additional evidence I have with the thumb drive is going to come through the detective, Your Honor, so I do think mine will be discussed. If not, I'm not going to play all of it, but...
That's the issue. You're not playing all of it, but it's all going to be in evidence.
Right.
Your Honor, I just could suggest, can we clean up once we're done here, can we just clean up the thumb drive or hard drive?
That's exactly what should be done, and that's probably what Tina's going to want. However, that needs to be done today.
Sure.
Because once it's been received, I need it today. It technically shouldn't even go away outside of the courtroom, but it's going to have to because I want it narrow to what you actually showed in court.
Okay, yeah, and I think the detective can lay the foundation that they collected videos, even if the videos are not played. So all mine is just the raw footage that they collected, and then in order to make the presentation of the evidence more smoothly. I'm playing it through a combined video, but I do think the foundation will be laid for everything that's on my thumb drive.
I hope so, because if not, it's not going to be, I won't receive it that way.
Okay.
And Mr. Tapapina, you can clean hers up.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, people's, next witness.
You are, just one last thing.
Yes, you had something, I apologize.
It's okay.
Okay.
Sorry, go
We
ahead.
just moved to exclude all witnesses.
I only have one final
There was a
witness.
prior motion to exclude witnesses, and the motion remains in effect. So if you're a witness in this matter, yours to be excluded at this time.
The detective who's seated next to me is going to be testifying. There is another detective who is one of the investigating officers who's present in court. I'd ask that an exception be made for her.
That's
What's her
fine,
name?
that's fine.
Her name is Danetta, D-A-N-E-T-T-A, Menifee, M-E-N-I-F-E-E.
That's fine. She was named as an IO previously. All right, that's fine. Call your next witness.
My next witness is Detective Frank Flores.
Flores or Flores?
F-L-O-R-E-S.
Thank you.
You can stop there, sir. Please raise your right hand. Solemnly state that the testimony you're about to give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Sir, please state and spell your first and last name for the record.
Yes, first name is Frank, F-R-A-N-K. Last is Flores, F-L-O-R-E-S.
Good morning, Detective Flores.
Good morning, ma'am.
People, please.
Thank you. Your Honor, I handed my exhibits to defense so they can go through them. Just waiting for him to return. Detective, would you tell the court what your occupation and assignment are?
Yes, I'm a police officer for the city of Los Angeles. I'm currently a detective assigned to our robbery homicide division.
Did you have the same assignment on November 6, 2021?
Yes, I did.
And how long have you been a police officer for?
Just over 27 and a half years now.
Were you one of the assigned detectives on this case?
Yes.
And do you remember the date that you and your partners were assigned to this case?
Yes,
What date was that?
that was November 9th, 2021.
Okay. Did you speak with Mr. Ephron the day that you were assigned to this case?
Yes, telephone.
After you spoke with him, did you go to the location where the crime occurred at Vista Del Mar and Selma Avenue?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 7. In general, does this depict the area that you went to that day after speaking with Mr. Ephron?
Yes, it is.
While you were at that location, what was your primary purpose for being there?
We were there primarily to canvass for video evidence or any evidence related to the crime report.
Specifically, were you looking for surveillance video cameras?
Yes.
All right. Did you observe any cameras that were mounted to the building at 6200 Hollywood Boulevard?
Yes.
And it might be easier if I use People's Exhibit 8. Do you recognize what we see here?
Yes, I do.
Can you just describe for the court the building at 6200 Hollywood Boulevard? Hold on one second. If you could-
Yes, I can. It's a large building here that encompasses a good portion of the block between Hollywood on the north, Selma on the south, Argyle on the west, and all the way to up to Central on the east.
Okay, and even though that building connects with, from, I think what you described, 4 different streets, it's all addressed at 6200 Hollywood Boulevard?
Yes.
Okay. I want to first direct your attention towards the section of the building that's on Argyle Avenue, did you locate any cameras on that side of the building?
Yes,
What camera did you locate over there?
there was a camera located here by the parking structure, just on Argyle, on the east side of the street, just north of Selma.
Okay, and can you orient the court what direction that camera was facing at the parking area?
Yes, that camera was facing northbound towards Hollywood Boulevard, which is the major street on the top end of this map.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to ask to mark my next in order, which I believe is People's 13.
People's 13 next in order.
It's a demonstrative exhibit with an overhead satellite view photograph of the area, and it has a number of different locations marked on it. I'm going to have the detective go through it.
So moved.
Detective, showing you People's 13. Do you recognize this to be the same area that we've been talking about?
Yes,
And where the number 1 in the red box is on this exhibit, would that be very generally the area where that camera was located?
yes, here.
And would the green arrow with the triangle around it generally depict the direction that camera was facing?
Yes, the camera was facing in a northerly direction.
Okay. Did either you or your partners collect video from that location?
Yes,
Do you remember specifically who collected the video?
yes, it was ultimately collected by Detective Zaria with assistance from our Technical Investigations Division, one of our techs.
And Zaria, is that spelled Z-O-R-I-L-L-A?
That's correct.
And after Detective Zaria collected the video, did you discuss with him that that was the location where he collected it from?
Yes,
Did you have an opportunity to review raw video from that?
I did.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go, let's stay with that same building, 6200 Hollywood Boulevard. Did you collect any video from any portion of the building along Vista Del Mar?
Yes, I did.
And would that be depicted on People's 13 here?
Yes,
Can you identify that for the court?
yes, that would be the building here identified as number 2, which is on Vista Del Mar, just north of Selma.
I'm sorry, I meant the building at 6200 Hollywood Boulevard.
Okay, sir, I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
Yeah, my apologies. So, did you collect surveillance video from the area of Vista Del Mar that's specifically connected to 6200 Hollywood Boulevard?
Yes,
Okay. And where would that be depicted on this exhibit? People's 13?
up here, marked 3 and 4.
All right. The camera's marked as number 3 here. Were there 2 different cameras at that location?
Yes,
Can you describe for the court how those cameras were oriented?
yes, 3 had, there was 2 cameras facing, one facing kind of in a easterly direction, another one kind of offset, kind of facing in a westerly direction. So one east, one west. And then camera number 4 was a camera facing out from, I believe it was Lodi Dock, facing out westerly onto El Centro, which is the first major street that goes up to Hollywood Boulevard, east of Argyle.
Okay, the cameras at number 3 on People's 13 here, were those cameras, can you describe kind of where they were on the building? Were they oriented high and facing down, or?
I could best describe them as kind of at a street level, facing out from a window. So they would probably be at height, window height level.
So
Okay.
when you say out from a window, behind the glass, in front of the glass?
Yes, out from glass.
Thank you.
Was that a private residence?
Yes,
Okay. So it would have been inside of the residence facing out towards the street?
that's correct.
And did you or your partners collect that video?
Yes,
Do you remember who it was that collected it?
yes, that was collected by Detective James King. That was video that was forwarded to him by the resident.
And would that be King, how you spell his last name?
Yes, King.
And after Detective King received it, did he send it to you?
Yes, he did.
And did you have a chance to review the raw video from that?
I did.
Besides video, was there anything else collected at that location?
From location 3 here?
Yes.
No,
Did the cameras at location 3 also have audio?
they did.
Okay. You've already talked about the camera number 4. I believe you said that was above a loading dock?
I believe it was adjacent to or just above the loading dock.
Okay. And which direction did that camera face?
Primarily, it faced in a easterly direction.
And would that have captured El Centro Avenue?
Yes, captured the sidewalk and partial view of the street.
Okay. Did you or any of your partners collect that video?
Yes,
How was that video collected?
that was part of the overall video that was collected from 6200 by Detective Zaria with assistance.
Okay, so essentially the same as camera number, what's labeled as number 1 on People's 13?
That's correct.
All right. And did you watch the video footage from that camera?
I did.
Okay, lastly, I want to direct your attention to 1616 Vista Del Mar. Do you see that location depicted on People's 13 here?
Yes, I did.
And which location is that?
That is one marked number 2 here.
Okay. Did you personally observe those cameras when you were canvassing for video?
Yes,
Were you able to actually watch the video at that location?
yes, I was.
And ultimately, did you or your partners collect that video?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm pulling up the drive that was previously marked as People's Exhibit 9. And Detective, just showing you the files, I'm going to go by the first one, 1616 Vista Del Mar. Do you recognize the 2 applications that are in that folder?
Yes.
And would that represent the raw footage that you collected from that location?
Yes, that's the wrong footage.
Okay. I'm going to go to the next folder, which is labeled 6200 Hollywood Boulevard. And in this, there are 3 folders labeled camera 1, 2, and 3. I'm just going to open camera 1. Would this represent the video that you received from the location number 3 on People's 13?
Yes.
Okay. And lastly, the third folder is labeled 6200 Hollywood Boulevard -WNPM. Would this represent the video that you collected from locations 1 and 4 on People's Exhibit 13?
That's correct. That's the video that's collected from those locations.
Okay. Now I'm going to play the combined video. And Your Honor, I'm just going to play it in its entirety, and then I'll ask follow-up questions.
What is this exhibit?
It's still People's 9. almost done. All right, detective, do you recognize each of the clips played in that combined video to be clips that were collected from the various locations that you previously described?
Yes, I do.
My last exhibit, Your Honor, is 6 pages. I've asked to mark it as People's 14A through F, and I'll staple it at the conclusion.
Somewhat, yes, in order.
No, but I can send it to you.
Were they previously sent?
No.
Mr. President,
One second, sorry. These are all just still images collected from the surveillance video. The surveillance video as a whole was turned over to defense counsel. There's nothing novel or new about the,
why don't you show it to
Well, you want, I've seen them, it's okay, it's fine, it is from the video, it's not that, we have the video, but if an exhibit's being entered into evidence, I'd like copying it, pretty standard operating procedure. So those are still shots from the video, and we should have a copy of it, so, but we'll proceed, we're fine, I'm familiar with it.
Do you wish to review them briefly?
I did earlier, to save the court some time, so we're ready to go,
I appreciate that.
okay. Detective showing you People's 14A. Do you recognize what is depicted in these 3 photographs?
Yes,
And what is that?
that's the angle of the video, stills from the video on Argyle, just north of Selma. That was taken from the adjacent parking. And that captures video of somebody holding a gun, his left, appears to be left hand.
Okay. From your investigation, were you able to identify who that person is?
Yes,
Who is that?
Rakeem Myers.
Okay. I'm going to show you 14B. This one has 2 photographs that are individually labeled, correct?
Correct.
Do you recognize where each of those photographs came from?
Yes, I do.
And the photo on the left, where is that from?
That's from the onset on Argyle, just north of Selma, at the parking entrance. The one on the left, the one on the right is the loading dock off El Centro, just kind of north of Vista Del Mar.
Okay. And consistent with what you said previously, would this also depict the defendant, Mr. Mayers?
Yes,
All right. Specifically, the detailing on the hood of his sweatshirt?
yes, consistent.
Okay. Last is next is 14C. Would you agree the photo on the left came from the same parking entrance and the photo on the right came from the same loading dock area on El Centro?
Yes, this is all video that I reviewed. Yes, it is.
Okay. And specifically in this, just highlighting the design of the chest area of the sweatshirt?
Yes,
Okay. I'm going to move on to People's 14D. I'm going to only direct your attention to the photograph on the right, which is labeled as C on People's 14D. Do you recognize where that photograph comes from?
yes, also from the parking camera on Argyle.
Okay. The person on the far right-hand side in this photograph, were you able to identify who that was?
Yes,
Who is that?
that's Terell, Ephron.
The victim?
Correct.
I'm sorry, on the far right, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, and I should clarify, Your Honor, on the far right of the photograph, which is also on the far right, people C.
Thank you.
Okay, detective, directing your attention to People's 14E. Do you recognize where these photographs were taken from?
Yes, I do.
All right, the left, would you agree it's from the same parking entrance, and the right would be from the loading dock on El Centro?
That's correct.
All right, but the only addition on the left is being the box around the person who's partially depicted?
Yes, the person in the red jacket
Okay.
coat.
And Through your investigation, were you able to identify who the person in the red jacket is on the far right in People's 14E?
Yes.
Who is that?
Janelle Phillips,
Also known as 12E?
ASAP 12.
Okay. And lastly, 14F. Do you recognize where each of these two photographs came from?
Yes.
The left being the parking area and the right being that area on Vista Del Mar?
Correct.
Okay. Were you able to identify who the person depicted in each of these photographs is?
Yes.
And who is that?
Elijah London.
Would he also be known as ASAP Hills?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions for you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Cross, please.
Yes, well, we're just gonna connect this to the computer to the,
That's fine.
Do you have one? I only have one, because last time there was an extra one. Oh, is that Sure.
Yes.